friends. It's Kelly Pullum, also known as Craftin' Granny here. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! In Canada, and I'm excited to share another card with you tonight using the Lazy Days bundle. It's funny, I have another meeting scheduled later, and I was planning to start 5 minutes early tonight, and wouldn't you know, the computer did not cooperate. So somehow I had everything set up and then lost it and had to do it again. And so here I am. I'm on time, but I'm not early. Anyway, sometimes you just have to laugh at the way these things go. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Tracy. Hey, you're here live. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time chatting tonight because I want to get started with the card. But I do want to let people know about the sale that's coming up in August for the kits collection. And I just saw that today. So kits will be on sale up to 30% off. So that doesn't mean all of them are 30% off. I was hoping they were, but it means up to 30% off. So if you are new to stamping and would like to give it a try, a kit is a great place to start. If you're looking for something just to take with you so you can be crafty on your summer vacation, a kit is a great tool for that as well. Or if you're looking for something just so that you can stamp a quick card and have something ready to give out, a kit is a good idea for that. Ziva's come to check things out here. She's a little miffed because I closed the door for a while tonight, and so she's making her presence felt here now, and she's come on in to sniff around behind me. Okay. So I'm going to just get rid of my keyboard here, and I'm going to switch us over to the desktop view. Here we go. Alrighty. So I'm going to do a lot of stamping with this card tonight. So I'm going to pull all the pieces in and just get started with that. I have a mosquito with me. Oh dear. Mosquitoes are very, very ever present in Sudbury. I just have to say. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to start with the card front here. And actually, I'm going to pull in my foam mat because I am using tonight a clear stamp set. The Lazy Days is a clear photopolymer stamp set. So I'm going to pull that in first. I'm using Starry Sky ink tonight, Pecan Pie, and Memento. So that is my color array. Pull that down so you can see a little bit better. So I'm going to start off with this mat, which is a beautiful part. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. It's just easier with a big stamp. This is a beautiful part of the Lazy Days bundle, and this is going to go on the front of my card like so. Just looking at position here. Yeah, I want more room on the left or on the right than the left, so this is going here. There we are. Set that down gently, give it a little press, and I'm going to just lift it straight up. I'm going to go back to the other view on my computer here so that I can see comments. Okay, there we are. Beautiful. Now I'm going to set this aside because the rest of what goes on here is going to be done with I can't even think tonight. It's going to be done with die cuts. Okay. And I just need to take a quick peek here at my sample card because I have to remember what I put on the inside. Oh, yes. Okay. So here we go. So on the inside of the card, I'm going to do a sentiment. When we spend time together is going to go on the inside here. And that is going to be also in Starry Sky. Pull this down to the bottom. It's just a little easier for me to work with down here. There we go. Pretty good. Okay, I'm going to clean that off because I've learned a lesson here. When I stamp with you guys, sometimes I don't clean my stamps after I stamp with them. And then what happens is I pick up the stamp to change a block or something, and I get ink on my fingers, and that's how I'm getting it on my cards. So I'm going to try and be a little more careful about that tonight. Just switching this one up here on this block. Now I'm going to stamp first of all with Memento down here. And I'm going to do the same thing. Oops. Oh, I just knocked my card over. Am I having fun? Yes, I am. Okay, so I'm going to take this little basket. You probably can't see it very well under the camera here, but you will when I stamp it. I'm going to stamp it in Memento. I'm going to stamp it down here on my card. This is going on the inside of the card. And I'm going to stamp it again here for the back of the envelope. Now, we'll clean that up. And inside my stamp set, I kept this little piece. So I have some Post-it notes, and I use them for masking when I want to mask something. So this one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay this on top of here so that I can take the piece that looks like the plank floor, and I can stamp it over the bottom like so. And there you go. Now, I fussy cut this, but look, this was not hard to fussy cut because I didn't even cut the fussy leaves at the top. I didn't even have to do that part. I was just able to do the I was just able to do the basket at the bottom, so that's super easy. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Stamp again. Stamp across the bottom. And I just love being able to create what looks like 3D by doing that. And as you've seen, I've created this mask once, but I can reuse it lots of times. When I'm done with them, I just tuck them inside my stamp case so that it's there the next time I go to create a card. And so that's a little tip for you tonight. When you take the time to cut a mask, don't throw it away, save it, and you can reuse it many, many times. And that's very helpful. Okay, so now I've got a bunch of pieces I need to stamp that I'm going to cut out. Just had to hop down there and grab my card so I can see what I'm doing again. So I'm going to set these pieces aside. I don't want to get them inky. And I'm going to pull in these scraps. Oh, and I have this piece. I'm going to do my sentiment for the front as well. Okay, so let's do the sentiment for the front because I've got that ready to go here. Oops, I got that a little inky on the side. Hopefully I can go straight up and down here and it won't matter. So I'm coming close to this edge. There we go. Yay! Okay, so that one is done. And now I'm going to do this hanging basket here in Memento. And I'm going to do a few birds. So I've got the birds though, I'm going to do in Starry Sky. And I'm going to show you a little trick for coloring the birds. So I'm going to do one bird. Let's see, I've got which two standing? No, two flying and one standing. So here we go. Just going to ink him up and stamp. And I'm going to take this one, ink, and stamp. And one more, and stamp. Now, I'm going to use a blender pen. And, oops, that one's not going to work so well. I've taken the nibs out of that one. Here's one. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm just going to pull a little bit of that color from the stamp itself to color the bird. So that way I just get a light blue bird. If I did this with my Stampin' Write markers, Starry Sky is such a dark color, and I just want a little color on my bird. I don't want it to be really dark. So I discovered this was the best way. Oh dear, 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 dear. Sound is an issue. Let me just see. I'm turning my volume up. Well, that's just going to turn them up on my speakers. That's not going to do anything. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Maybe I'm too far away from my Logitech microphone. I don't know. I'll have to experiment with that. I'm going to pull forward here. Okay. So Sue, is this any better? I've pulled the oh dear, now I'm seeing gray. I hope I'm not going to, is that any better? Let me know, ladies, if that's any better. I turned the volume up, or I pulled the Logitech microphone closer to me. Anyway, I'm going to carry on here. There we go. Just clean that off on a little scrap here. So these are the blender pens. Now blender pens come in a 3-pack. They're alcohol based and they're great for coloring when you've just stamped something and you want to use that just to pull a little bit of color. Or you can pick up the ink. It is a little bit better, Tracy. Okay, so I'll have to experiment with that. I'll have to get my tech team to help me experiment with that a little bit and see if we can come up with anything that's going to help us. Okay, so now I'm going to pull in this pecan pie and I'm going to stamp the birdhouse. And I'm going to do the same thing, excuse me, with the birdhouse. Just going to add a little bit of shading with my blender pen here. Just to give it a little wee hint of color. Okay, so I think that's all my pieces. Close up those ink pads and clean up these stamps. There. Okay. Now, I'm going to color this one using blends because I do want it to be a little bit brighter. So I'm going to use pecan pie on the pot here. So that's the dark pecan pie. And this is the light pecan pie. Okay, and then I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. Oh, I got my lid switched again. Every now and again with Granny Apple Green. Oh, that one is, that's the dark. Every now and again I get these switched. These colors are just close. Yeah. So I got to watch myself because I go based on the color of the lid instead of what it says. So this is the dark Granny Apple Green. Again, I'm going to add a little extra color in some places just to give it a little bit more depth. And then I'm going to come in with the light and just finish this off. Lovely. Okay, now we're going to set these things aside and I'm going to bring in my mini boss. And we'll do our die cutting. The snap of the pen is louder? Huh. I don't know what's going on here tonight. And now my camera's gone wonky here. I'm freezing a little bit, I think. Oh dear. Well, I'm going to carry on. Okay, so I'm using my mini boss to do the die cutting here. And just a reminder, when you use the mini boss, that you want to make sort of an E shape with your pieces. So the bottom plate, oh no, I'm really frozen. One camera is frozen here. Okay. All right, hang on here a moment. Okay, one must do what one must do. Sorry for the jiggle. I just switched over to a different camera. So, back to where I was. Here we go. I'm going to die cut these pieces. So I've got the little birdhouse here. little bit of washi tape if I can get some to come off of here. No, I seem to be frozen now with that camera too. Oh, there it goes. It's moving again. Mamma mia, I am having a hard time tonight. Okay, so I'm just lining up my little pieces here for die cutting. I've got the bottom plate forward, the second plate back, and the top plate forward. So let's see if I push this up. You should be able to see better. And there goes my camera. Mercy me. Here we are again. I feel like you must think I'm like some kind of a comedy show, and that's really not what I was intending tonight. All right. Now, I need to take these off. I've got birds to cut here yet. All righty. I gotta laugh because otherwise I might scream, right? Okay. So here we go. Get these on here. Through we go. It's all good. Thanks, Tracy. Yeah. One more birdie to cut. Now I know why demonstrators do recorded videos and not live. You can't even see what I'm cutting here because I can only bend the camera so far. All right. That can get out of the way. Here. Now, let's start trying to put a card together, shall we? So I've got my card base here. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, which I'm going to burnish. I'd like to see if I could get this thing to tilt a little bit more, but I'm afraid I'm going to knock it over again. It'll only balance so far. There. Okay. So, standard card base, I'm going landscape position. And the first thing I'm going to do is put the blue across here. This is, as I said at the beginning, Starry Sky. I've got my stamped piece with the mat here, and this is going to go on the top. But I'm going to use my silicone mat. I did get it out. Oh golly. Oh, there it is. So I'm going to use my silicone mat to do the gluing. We're going to put some liquid glue here. Let's get a better one. Liquid glue here. And then my finger dauber. And we're going to apply the liquid glue to the back of my trellis and whatnot here. This is just an easy way to get the glue on here without ending up with it everywhere. Now this is going to lay on top of my white. I'm going to come part way up here, and it's going to just go underneath up here at the top. So I'm going to line that across and down, and then snip the little extra here. Okay, now we're going to take this little piece. This is the one of the dies from the same set, which I love. This little vine is just so cute, and it's going to come up the side here, like so. Hi, Jeanette. Oh, you missed all my silliness tonight. I've had a crazy time here. Okay, now I'm going to put this little piece on, and it's going to come off the side here, but that's okay. That's the way I want it. So again, I'm just going to dab a little bit of glue on here and put it on the side that's going to be on the paper. Like so. And then I'm going to snip this off the side. Now I added this little piece because I wanted some green on the opposite side of the vine. I put the green on this side, and then Balance told me I needed some on the other side there as well. Now I've got my little birdhouse here, and I'll just give it a little bit of glue, a little dab, and it's going to come right into here. Okay, and now I need my birdies. So I've got a flying birdie here. Got a little mini dimensional to go in the back. And it's going to come right up here. Oops, I slid this guy way over. How did I do that? Get back. Get back there. Okay. Now I pre-cut my rocker, and I pre-cut a pillow. Now this is what I learned about this little pillow. It fits really well on the stamped rocker, but on this rocker it's a little bit too big, because if you put it on there, it's like it's covering up the arm of the rocker. If you slide it underneath, it looks like it's hanging off the edge of the rocker. So I just did a little surgery here. I just came in and I just cut, oh, I'm trying to remember, did I cut 2 or 3 pieces off? I think I'm going to try 2 and see if that's enough. So I just cut kind of 2 of the pattern sections off there, and then I can put the cushion on the rocker and it looks a little more like it belongs. I think actually one more is even better. There we go. So just take that little bit off, add a teeny bit of glue here, and then this will sit very nicely on the rocker and look like it belongs. Okay, it's not too big, not too small now. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of dimensional on the back of my rocker. Cut this little guy here. Put the bigger piece up here and the smaller piece down here. There we go. Sometimes I still struggle with these little dimensionals, getting the backings off, but you know, I'm a lot better than I used to be. So this is going on here now. And then this little birdie, the standing birdie, I have to find him, here he is going to stand up on top of the rocker. Go. So now we have our sentiment. So I've got this piece here and I've got this little green piece here. So what I did, I just snipped this on an angle like so, and then I put it onto green bit, leaving just a little bit of a border. Again, I wanted to bring that green element into the card in another place. When you use a color, unless it's a neutral color, I generally think it's a good idea to use it in a number of places. So there we go. And now this part is going to pop up over the side here, but I can go ahead and put this on first. So here we go. There. Then we're going to put this on. Right from the edge there. Good. Now we've got our piece to go inside, and we've got our envelope, and we need to color those, which I did with the pecan pie and the granny apple green. And I'm just going to take the time to do the one here, and then show you the other part. So here we go. I'm just gonna color my bucket here and add a little bit more dark in a few places just to give it a bit more of a weathered look. Okay, and then my Granny Apple Dark. Again, I'm using those dots on the leaves to kind of guide me as to where I put the little bit extra. Here we are. Just fill that in. So this one would be the same. I won't take the time to do that right now, but this can go inside the card. And the last little glorious piece here, which I just loved, I just took these nice big, these are the basic rhinestones, and I just put one in the center of each of these little guys. And I just thought it added the perfect amount of bling to the card. So there you go. I'm showing you the wrong camera. Here, let's see if I can make this look better for you. Nope. Where do I need to go? That's better. Okay, I'm just seeing Sue's comment that she turned the pillow every which way. I just lost, and now I do not know what is going on. Oh, there we go. Froze, and then I'm back. Okay, I'm just going to try and finish quickly here before I lose my camera. So that was tonight's card. And I told you I had a couple simple little cards that I did using the same bundle. So this little card, let's see if I can get it. I am so spatially challenged, trying to get this in a good position to show you. Nope. Okay, so this little card is, I just did a little bit of, with the Stampin' Right markers on an ink block. No, I keep moving it away, and I don't know what to do here to make it better. Let's just see if this helps. So anyway, I just colored with my Stampin' Right markers on an ink block. I spritzed it, and then I stamped it. So this one, I can even turn this around this way for you. Maybe that's better. And then, yeah, and then just made that my background and made this little card. So this was a quick and easy one. Okay, it's always a good day when you take care of yourself. Here's another quick and easy one. This one, just using the die cuts and stamping the bird and the sentiment was quick and easy. For this one, I also used the stylish shape dies and the layering circle dies. And then when it's your birthday, it's always a good day when it's your birthday for this one. And then, of course, you saw the ones I did previously. If you haven't seen them, you might want to go back and watch the video. This was a thanks card. And this was a welcome card. Okay, so that was previous videos. And Sue, I'm glad you're here because I'm just going to take a quick minute to say thank you for the card. Your card finally arrived in the mail for me. And I love this little card, and maybe I'll have a play with it and try to make something. Sue sent me this because I have a ton of brads, and she was suggesting that I could make a card like this to use the brads and the pieces turn, and isn't that nifty? And so anyway, I'm going to have a play with that. Maybe we'll see a card like that. Thank you so much, Jeanette. I appreciate it. And thank you, friends, for joining me. I'm going to have to scoot out quickly here because I am already late for my other meeting, but I appreciate you being here with me so faithfully, very, very much. Take care, enjoy the rest of your evening, and happy crafting. Good night.